Well, today is August 9th. We're just going to talk about this project here. We have just cut third cutting hay here, and probably by the time you see this video, we'll be all done chopping. And if you followed my Instagram post from August 9th, you'll understand where I have been here on YouTube, and we're not even going to get into talking about that at all. But at any rate, here, the last day of hauling manure, Jared heard this Mack knocking a little bit, and he kind of thinks he's on borrowed time with this engine because the truck is what, an 86, 85?
85.
It's an 85. It's got a 3406B in it, and it's been running real good. However, it's an older truck, and he had plans of rebuilding one of these engines, either the engine in this or the one that's in the Freightliner, at least putting rods and mains in, doing that this winter. So we've got some clips here from when he was screwing around with the Freightliner, because he had that pulled in here. What did you take? You were taking stuff off of that for this, just kind of tinkering with it for the past month.
I think the better jigs on it, so I put them on this, and then I think I took the timing advance off because this one was wore out. I swapped it with that one. There's something else I took off of that. I don't remember.
Yeah. So Saturday he was hauling manure, heard this start knocking a little bit, and we're a month away from chopping corn, and we need all the road tractors we have. We are having some problems with the Peterbilt. It's having some issues with the Ultra Shift transmission, and the W9 is getting a major rebuild right now, and it's up in the air whether or not we're going to have enough trucks to pull these 3 trailers here for silage. So he pulled the Freightliner out of here, and then that's what you're going to see in the next clip. I wasn't here. I was seeding down alfalfa. I wish I was here. Sarah and Brad ended up grabbing these few clips here, and Jared was just kind of testing things out with the Freightliner. The rear end was blown in it, and what you'll see is what happens to it in the end with these next few clips here. So we'll just kind of give you a little bit of a walk around of the Freightliner. She's sitting outside here, and well, you'll see the rest of it in these next few clips.
Why does the exhaust come out so funny? Grand finale. Cook the rear end?
Yeah, I think
Oh, what? Oh no. Oh.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I think I just took the rear end out. The other rear end. Well, I don't know. It seems fine.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Maybe not.
I think it's cooked. Come on, roll back a little so I can fucking drive.
All right, now that you see that he was screwing around with a Freightliner, he was able to pull this inside. And at that point, you more or less discovered what was wrong with this, or not yet, quite yet.
Yeah, I'd figured it out. It was making a light tapping noise when I was loading in, and it just so happened that I was out of the tractor. And I decided I shouldn't drive it. I brought it up here. When I drove it up through the driveway, it stopped, and I thought maybe it was the PTO or the transmission.
It wasn't. It stopped, meaning it wasn't knocking. It wasn't making any noise.
It was a tapping noise at first. It was very faint. I thought maybe it was the transmission or something, or the PTO, because I was agitating while I was loading. I dumped the load off in the front pit, and when I idled it down, the truck started to knock, and it wasn't a hard knock. It was just a knock. It was just a light knock. And I finished dumping the load off, and I parked it out back, and I was kind of mad at it. I decided I'd get back to it the next day. I pulled it in here, and I thought maybe it was the air compressor, because it takes it a really long time to build air, but it doesn't leak much air. So I kind of figured with the light knocking and tapping, maybe it was the air compressor. I don't know how old that thing is. It's got the same yellow paint on it the engine does, so who knows. So I took it all off, and I made all these plugs up for all my coolant lines and whatever, oil lines. And that didn't make it go away, so it had died from a knock back to the tapping, just light little tap, tap, tap that you could hear. So I took the valve covers off, and I realized that it was somewhere in the back half. You could hear it. Me and Brad is actually helping me with it too. I realized it was somewhere back here. So we took the Jake housings off. I thought maybe it could be a Jake housing or something. I don't know. It didn't make much sense, but I took it off anyway. And it didn't go away, so I put that back on, ran it some more, because you can't really run it too much with the Jake housing off. You have to plug the oil pressure off. I mean, it'll shoot oil and hit the ceiling. So
Got a couple of drops right there.
You can't really run it very long like that. I only ran it for a couple of seconds, and tapping is still there. So I put the Jake housing back on, and I let it run, and I noticed that it was coming from number 6, and number 6 looked like it was way out of adjustment. These rocker, the I got the rockers off now. But the way it kind of works is each rocker arm, if this is the back half of the engine, this one runs your exhaust and this one runs the intake. Even though it's a 24 valve, it just uses one rocker arm, and it's got a bridge. And I noticed on the bridge of number 6 intake right here, it was off a lot. And I started peeking down in. There's a hole back there that you can't quite get your hand in. If you look down in there, that's where your roller lifters are. And I noticed down in there that one of them had this clip broken off, and it had sunk down a little. So I thought that's got to be it. Brad thought it was coming from there too. So I got to pulling it out. I couldn't get it out with hand tools, pliers, or anything. I don't have the special tool. I probably should get one at some point, but I needed to make this work. So I took and welded this rod to it. I just took some tubing and put it over it so it didn't arc on anything else. And I welded this on here, and I used the threaded rod because I figured if it broke off, as long as I got some kind of stitching right here, that the threads would grab it. And luckily it did, because it's obviously not welded to it, but it's stuck in there. And I was able to pull it out, and this was the condition of the roller rocker. This is supposed to be a nice little roller right here. It's obviously contacted the cam. I got the oil pan off. We'll see if I can reach up there and touch the cam, but even if it's, as long as it's not horrible, which I don't think it is, I think I caught it soon enough, I'm just gonna run it. I know it's definitely damaged. I mean, there's no way the cam got away without much damage, but we need this thing, and I'm not gonna put a cam in this engine, so
stay tuned. We will keep you informed on how this project here goes together, and hopefully it stays together. So we'll join up with you here as he gets this button back up. He had to pull the oil pan off because he had a piece of, what'd you have, one of the clips fall down?
Yeah, when I pulled this out, this spring clip, this spring retainer basically keeps the roller rocker from, you know, if it's in here and the cam lobe is going this way, the spring clip sits down in, and it keeps the roller rocker from doing this. And that's why this is all damaged here, because, you know, the roller wants to sit a certain way on the cam. It can't sit like that. The roller's not going to work anymore.
So
and when I pulled this out, this half had broken off, and obviously I didn't touch it in time, and I pulled it out and it fell down in, and I took the oil pan off and got it. I didn't get it out in the oil, but by the time that I had gotten the pan off, I'd reached my hand in that plug, and a magnet must be shaking the oil pan. By the time I dropped it, it was at the hole in the pan.
now you ended up getting new parts, and they're already installed.
Yeah, I already put we got a roller rocker. Cat had all this stuff. It's a reman one. It's not new, but whatever.
How much was the roller rocker?
It was $125. It was is that that's not the one. Oh, the one is still in the bag there. It's in here.
Oh, the receipt, yeah.
I think it was like $125 and like $8 for the spring retainer. It was pretty decent. $191 altogether. So
yeah.
$47 core charge for the lifter, which I don't know if they're going to take that as a core or not, but we'll see. And then $119 for the actual lifter itself, $47 core charge, $11 for the guide, which sits on this.
Yeah.
Sits in here.
So he'll get this back together here, and then I don't know if we're going to be able to chop today. We've got hay down, but it has rained, and we got to wait for the sun to come out and dry this hay out. So we'll join up with you once he gets this thing actually running, which will be a couple hours. You ready to do some chisel plowing? Yeah? So no picking stones today. So Alex was beating on the track skid steer yesterday, and what she was trying to do is she was trying to do wheelie stands, and what had happened was she ended up breaking a track. So she found out that she can't do wheelie stands to the left anymore, but you will once we get that new track on there. So no, we had a track that was wore out, and that's why that broke. So we've got to give some marching orders here, and we'll join back up with you in a while once this thing is running. And then we chop some hay maybe. Well, Jared's got this together. He just had it fired up. It had a little bit of a knock to it, which it was fuel related. He's gonna fire it up again. I was a little late getting in here with the camera. Got the valve cover off, and it lives again. Problem we had was in number 6 here, so it's all gonna depend on keeping good oil in it, I guess. Just have to see how she rolls there. This turbo that he's got on here is the Switchblade turbo, and we actually put this on truck 15. If you remember when I did that video a couple years ago, and it cracked. And I ended up taking it off of there. Where did this, oh, it cracked right there. And Jared ended up welding it. I was gonna send it back, but I didn't.
The air actuator's bad and I had to clamp it open.
Okay, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is your thoughts of the Switchblade turbo? I never noticed anything on the truck 15. You noticed anything on this truck?
Well, no, because I mean it's just...
It's not doing the job
it's not doing anything now.
But this turbo here, that self-destructed, didn't it?
Yeah.
The one that was on there?
The one that was on there seized up.
Oh, it seized up.
Yeah, and then this
one. So he seen this one sitting in a pile on the floor, and I never got back to the Switchblade Turbo Company there. What was that guy's name?
Jim Blaylock.
Jim Blaylock. I never got back to him, and I was gonna make him warranty it, but we ended up putting a regular turbo back on truck 15. So we we weren't able to chop anything today. It's too cloudy out, so we should be able to get back on the horse tomorrow and get this on one of the silage trailers and get her moving. So we'll join up with you tomorrow.